So let's start with another chapter on Greeble and Spline offset. So I would like to show you something how we have the Greeble and the Spline offset plugins to be installed. We go to the drive that we have, where we have already installed Autodesk 3D Max, and then we have something called as plugins, and in that you can go and place Greeble and Spline. Now with that, once that's done, we go to our Max file, we go to customize unit setup, and not unit setup, we go to customize, and we go to configure user, and we go to third party plugin. It's already installed. You can still go back into add plugins of Max and add it over here, and these plugins will show up. Now it's already there, the plugins are already there, so you want to install them, say okay, and there you go. So we can start and go with just a normal rectangle. And when you take that small rectangle, you can change that to say 500 to 500 meters, just something that we can relate with. Now we go to the default layers, and we go into rename of the rectangle and say driver's base. That would be easier for us to keep it. So we have the rectangle here. I think easiest would be if we go to the top view and draft our other road lines that we want to draft. So we just take a few lines, and this would be another line that we could take in. And with these two lines, I think we can just rename the roads, and we rename this as well as 12 meters because we're considering the road width as 12 meters. We can make another 2 more lines. If you press shift here, this line could come straight, so that's something that I learned. And if I press shift again, I could have this line straight. So it's fine. So we go to rename, we go to 6 meters and just say 6 meters underscore 01 and then 6 underscore 02. So this is all that we have created. Now what I would do is I would select all of them. I would create a main layer calling it driver's spline. Now that would be one way of doing it. I would select all of them again and create another layer, sorry, not another layer, but go into this, and select all of them and say clone and make a reference to it, and again create a something, say casement. So this is what we have done. Now with this casement, obviously we'll keep driver spline off for now, and we are in casement. I select this, and I go to modifier, and I say spline offset. So here you have spline offset, and make this into 12 meters, and that's 2D, and we keep this as open butt, and we don't need to keep original splines on. So that's one done. Now we go to the other one and say splines offset, and we make that into 6 meters, and we change this into 2D, and we say open butt. With open butt, we say keep original spline as it is. So that's our spline command. Now what I would also like to do is again to a clone reference to this whole thing and create and say shape boolean. That's shape boolean, and that's what. Now with hiding, we will hide casement and driver spline and just work on spline boolean, shape boolean. Now with shape boolean, I would select the base. This is the base, and go to modifier. Oh no, sorry, not modifier. Go to the plus sign. Go to splines. Go to compound shapes. Go to boolean. Now with boolean, I want to subtract. I will go to subtract and say add, and then I will start subtracting all this and create proper intersection rows. So that's done with this spline command. With this shape boolean command, I will again go to driver's base, say clone, create a reference, and give this a name. Definitely give this a name and say footpath. And giving this footpath a name, I will go to modifier list, go to spline offset, and see I get a spline offset. I'll just make that 2.5 as a pathway, and if I go further down, I just want to round this up. So if you see this, I just get round. Now with this, I would go to again to driver's base, go to clone, say reference, and rename this. Rename this and say builders, or say build mass would be the easiest to mention. Going to build mass, I will go to quaddy mesh, and that's what happens in quaddy mesh. Now just to see what is happening in this, if you see, this is a default shading, and that's wireframe, so that's the difference that you would see. Now I think it would be easier for us to work on this face, and if you want, you can just change the shading to wireframe again. Now if I select this and I go to modifier and I say Greeble, and it gives me Greeble. Now I would say let's go to shading, because I want to see how it looks. So if you see, this is like something just joined to each other. It's just a Greeble command used, and if I go to Greeble and if I give it a thickness or something like that, and then if I say let's taper it or whatever, this would taper this way. But if I bring it all down, and I say that, this is something wrong, let's just taper this more, and then if I take it up, would be sensible to work on. But for now, what I would do is I would just want to taper this to 20, which will help. And I will do another Greeble on this, because I've tapered the whole thing, and this Greeble would be something that would actually work. Now if you're seeing this all, this abrupt areas that I'm showing up. So I take this Greeble and I go to select tops, and that's what happens. So now you see, this is all a clean Greeble. Let me change the color so I think we'll be able to see it better. Yep, or nah, not a purple. Let's do blue. Yep. So that's a Greeble, and that's all clean Greebles. There's a lot of space between all of them. And now if you go to this and you say top select, this is my top select of my Greeble. I go again to modifier list. I go to Greebles, and now if I see, I have actually created more Greebles. I have actually tapered more Greebles, and I've increased it. Yep. So that is my Greeble. That's all about Greeble. You see a lot of gap. You see a nice this complete grid planning. If you go here, you see the distance of the roads. Let me just go to this phase. If you see this is all like, you have the roads. If you want to go to shaded, you see this. You see, it's all worked out, city grids, and that's the way it would work. Now, there's something else that we could try is go to driver spline if you select, if you just select this line and you go to vertex, and if you decide to just, sorry, just 1 minute. If you just select this and you just line, and then you go to this and you say move, and you just move this, just simply just so here you're changing that grid and the whole thing changes. That is why working in layers is I think something very important that we all should be working on, which helps. Now going back to the command that we have actually used and worked on, if you want, I would just like to increase a little bit more of the height, a little bit more, just increase the height to say, so that's something that I would like to increase. Now there's one thing that we could always work on is with Greebles and with Spline command, is something which is also very useful in here is the edit poly, and I'll show you how edit poly is helpful. If you just put edit poly here below the 3 Greeble, and you go into this edit poly and you just select a part of it, and just select this part of it. So you see this, you can always do like existing and a new feature or something like that. So this can help, and then you select this part of it, so at least you understand the side and you see like, oh, this is workable, oh, this is not. And if you do a right click, if you go from right to left, you'll get it, and if you go from left to right, and then you go to left to right, you need to press the shift button if you want, wherever you want to just keep dragging it. So it could be right to left, left to right, depending on how you work on it. So this is all about poly edit, and let's do one last one, that is the foot part. We haven't done the foot part yet, so I don't know if extrude would work, but I think the best would be if we work on, say, sweep. I think sweep would be a nice command to work on. There you go. But you just need to reduce on all of this, like really, really tiny, and make that 0.5 if you want to do it. And you need to, obviously, you can't just reduce the width, but you can keep that 4. It looks cleaner. And if you want to change the color, this is something that I'm not able to see. So that could be one way of looking at it. And if you want to give thickness, obviously you can give thickness. So that's what you need to work on. And then you can give like radius. You don't want to give the radius, you don't give anything. The corner radius 1 and 2. So that's where you actually develop this pathways. Footpaths is all created. So here is the video where we spoke about Greeble, we spoke about spline offset, and we definitely used the Greeble and the taper command, giving like good understanding of the gap between buildings. So that's an easy way of doing it. So Greeble and spline offset command plugins, which would help.